Hello humans, Alex Simo here. However, am I right? No, it's just kidding. It's me, Master Dinnerflax. And I got a real cards, and I got real playmat, and I got whatever this is. No dueling book simulation, no simulated Imperial Order in every hand. Nope. Real cards. I say I'm Simo because I had to borrow his arms for the video. I don't have any. So shout out to Simo for letting me borrow his body parts, but what am I showing off? It is Live Twin, Evil Twin, Anime Girl deck. This deck actually has a lot of really good stuff going for it in the current format. One, this is the ideal deck for showing your opponent you've never been in a romantic relationship. Literally, this deck is filled with anime girls. So we got that going for us. Thumbs up. And in addition, this deck is really good because it only really needs like one card to resolve to like full combo. So if you just throw a bunch of negation or cards your opponent has to negate at your opponent and one thing resolves, you usually just win the duel. It's really, really simple. And what's really nice is this deck went from like losing to a single hand trap to like commonly playing through multiple, like almost entirely playing through multiple. So, like, hand traps don't really affect this deck much outside of Nibiru, but I don't care about Nibiru because I actually play Live Twin Home, and that gives you counterplay to it. So, let's go into the deck. We'll start off with the monsters. 3 OG Lilla, 3 OG Kissy. So, these ones, whenever they're summoned, and you control no other monsters, it summons the other one, but not just itself, like the other copy, but any of them, including these, which are extenders. If you control a Lilla, you can special summon Frost, and if you control Kissy, you can summon Treat Lilla. So, basically, if this gets negated, you can special summon this, but if those don't get negated, this gives you an extra level 2 body, which is important. And regardless, this gives you like counterplay to hand traps, and even if like they try to negate your first Link 2 for some reason, these also catch that. So this is like it for the Live Twins. They give you a lot of play through hand traps. They are just a very, very effective and a very effective rank 2 engine at that. And finally for the last Evil Twin monster, we got the big one. This card's terrible. It's actually just awful. But the reason you play this, yeah, it leads to OTKs. That's not important. The fact is, this format is literally about who Zeus who the most. And if your board gets cleared by a Zeus, it really doesn't matter at that point. Because if you don't play this card, you can't out the Zeus. You just have to draw a random nothing card. But if you have this in your main deck, and like Sunny goes to grave because of Zeus, or you used it and then they Zeus your board, next turn, Sunny can just send this out the Zeus and you just play normally. So that's like so important, but it also lets you not lose any resources using Sunny, which is also very important. Then for the last of the real monsters, we got the Melfi engine, which is one Caddy, one Hopier. What's really nice is neither of these are actually Garnets, because if you draw them, they serve the exact same function as if you search them. So that's pretty nice. And if you like draw them, sometimes you can like it's like treating as an extender. So this is just a really nice package, but it's ultimately, like I said before, and I'll say it one last time, if you're not using the extenders in this deck for anything, if you're just focusing on looping Sunny over and over again, you are literally defeating the point of this entire deck. The point of this deck is all of your 1 cards are more valuable than any singular 1 card your opponent is playing, because all yours are like always an additional card advantage. So if you can run your opponent out of card advantage with these 1-for-1 interactions and your card resolves, you're just going to win. However, if you're not doing anything with the extenders, you're defeating that playstyle of the deck, which is its playstyle. So if you're not using the extenders, you're actually contradicting the deck itself. So you got to find some use. I think this use is hilarious and actually pretty good. But there's others like the Link Disciple Devotee package and things like that. Just find a use for your extenders. It's bad deck building doing anything else. Then for the last of the monsters, and actually the only hand trap, it's Gamma, the Gamma package. So Gamma, funny enough, is actually a level 2 tuner, which is very relevant. But this format's very big into Droll, and I love punishing Droll. So Gamma also gives you Omega access, which that's hit or miss if you want to play it. I do play it, but that's because of memes. Then for the spells, these are all the same spell, which is Secret Password, which searches any of these, which is Live Twin Home or Live Twin Sunny Snitch. When it is activated, it just tinkies out a Kissy or Lilla. And then while you control an evil twin, anytime your opponent summons, you gain 200 or your opponent takes 200. So, Trick Star effect. And then this, you discard a card to teleport any Kissy or Lilla out of your deck. But after it resolves, you can only go into your extra deck for evil twin monsters. But why am I playing more than one and more than two? Well, the truth is, because I'm actually using the extenders, it's good to just draw the extenders. And also, I'm playing Zeus. It actually doesn't make sense if you're playing Zeus to not play as many of these as you can. Because when you Zeus your opponent, like, you can't just expect, oh, that's it, I can just pass on a 0 material Zeus. No, what you want to do is after you Zeus him, you start playing. And home is like the only way to actually do that. So I'm focusing on Zeus, I'm focusing on extenders, so home is just a good card to draw. And if you draw this, it's like more resistance to hand traps and disruption. So definitely a very good card. And what I would like to call the generic slots, these could be anything. Droplet, Desires, like these cards could be literally anything. So it doesn't really matter what you want to play, but these are what I'm playing. So Called by the Grave, kind of toxic. This card should be banned, obviously. Cosmic Cyclone, because a lot of decks are on Mystic Mine. And since I'm only playing 2 Lilla, I would actually like to have back row removal so I don't just keep throwing all my Lillas into back row just for their summons to get negated. So that's pretty good. Econ is Exodia in this deck. And Forbidden Chalice should actually just be Forbidden Droplets, but is getting reprinted in like 3 weeks. So sure, Forbidden Droplet. It's forbidden still, so that counts. And then I couldn't find Monster Reborn, but this is Upstart Goblin. I don't know. This should actually just be Reborn. Reborn's pretty nice in the deck. It's also an extender, which lets you do cool stuff. And then for the traps, the one that's actually searchable is Evil Twin Challenge. This gives you some pretty cool plays on your opponent's turn, because not only is this Reborn, but it allows you to link summon into any Evil Twin before it finishes resolving. So you can like early use a Sunny, and then like you use their effects, and in your opponent's battle phase, they run over one of the twins, and when they go for the other, you just revive one twin back, make Sunny, and they can't beat over it, which is pretty nice. So that card's very cool. This card should be banned. And I wanted to try Strike instead of Imperm. This could be Imperm instead, and it literally... actually, Imperm would probably be better, but I just want to test Strike. And I like negating summons, especially Zeus. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we got Triple Sunny. Sunny is nice. It's actually surprisingly scientifically accurate as well. Because as we know, the only thing more powerful than a demonic lesbian couple is a child with internet influence. So I actually like that it's 3,300 attack. Its ability to tag out in things not just the main phase is also very relevant to play around tactics. And it having non-targeting, non-destructive removal is nice, because Sunny itself sending the big evil twin in the main deck is literally 2 outs to Dragoon. So if they negate it with Dragoon, you just go ahead and summon the big twin, which is a 4,400, which will beat over a Dragoon at 4,000. So it's really funny. This is just casually 2 outs to Dragoon on its own. And then I flashed them for a moment, but then the other evil twins. So I do agree that 4 is not really good for a grind game, but I think 6 is legitimately overkill. Because in a grind game, you actually just want to keep summoning Kizzy kills. You don't really want to summon Lilla. And the only time you're actually going to summon a third Lilith in grind game is usually when you're misplaying yourself or you don't have a lot of actual interactive cards. But I actually have a lot of interactive cards with like Econ and Cosmic Cyclone that could take cards off my opponent's board. So you really just don't want to go into... you don't really need a third Lila. You're kind of misplaying if you need to summon a third Lila. There's very, very few exceptions where that's not the case. But Kissy actually is... you could run through 2 of these super quick. But the last Link monster, which that's kind of weird to say, is actually Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn, it's like the best Link in this deck. Phoenix literally doesn't matter. You could totally not play Phoenix. You can totally not play Cerberus. Cerberus actually just sucks in here. On-Chain Abomination, it's actually, I cut it for one other card that you could put it back in. That one's also a pretty good Link in this deck. But like Unicorn and Abomination, outside of those, like all the other Nightmares, like Phoenix and Cerberus, are redundant effects in this deck. You don't need them at all. And Griffin is kind of has to be format dependent, and yeah, that's basically it for the links. And you can absolutely OTK with this setup. You don't need that many links to OTK. For Gamma, I'm doing Omega. You can put back Sunny into your graveyard and Frost and Treat into your graveyard. So this card's actually pretty cool. And then for the Melfi package, we got one of the Forest and the Herald of the Arclight. This very strong package. A lot of people also will miss side for this deck if they don't see you do this early. But a lot of decks can get really stuck behind a Herald of the Arclight, and they're also usually not ordering their they're not building their reactive board to a Herald of the Arclight until it plops down, and that's kind of annoying for them. So yeah, Herald of the Arclight, Melfi of the Forest. And this one, if you actually have 2 extenders and use them both, you can keep this up, and it's a disruption with when the caddy bounces itself. Which is also how this deck has counterplay to D-Shifter. Then for the last ones, we got Gotchi, Zeus, and Downard. Gotchi is actually superior to Sky Cavalry. I know a lot of people say it doesn't matter, it's the same. No, Gotchi is actually just a little bit better. Because the only time where it's not is if they if they non-destructive negate Gotchi's effects, and they leave everything in attack, but something in attack is less than 2,000. So that situation is so not actually happening that I just switched to Gotchi, and it's actually just so much better. The reason this is so much better, if you don't know, this survives destruction effects like Torrential, Blackout, other destruction. Oh, Phoenix Enforcer. Because this can actually survive 2 destructions, it can, if Phoenix destroys it, it detaches the material, it can run into something and detach to other material, and then you just go down or Zeus, and then you Zeus your opponent. So this is actually just so much better. But that's it for the extra deck. So the last is the side deck, and the side deck, probably not actually real. It's nice though. Triple Dark Ruler, one of the best cards of the format. I don't actually care about trap decks this format. They all kind of suck, and they're all really getting pushed really, really far down by Zeus. So instead of Feather Duster, I'm siding Regeki, because all the combo decks this format they'll have 1 Omni Negate. And if you bait out the 1 Omni Negate, Regeki literally takes everything off the board. So it's kind of funny. And especially if you Dark Ruler them, everything's negated Regeki, that's pretty much game. And then triple evenly matched. So when I replace those chalices for droplets, you'll have a whole bunch of stuff for going second, which is really nice. But there are some trap decks that I don't like. So 1 red reboot, this deck can make Zeus, and it can actually just clear an entire board without Zeus. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, the last of the side deck are just going first cards when you go first. Crazy. Triple Judgment. It's Solemn Judgment. It negates everything. Not a lot of counterplay to it outside of just clearing it with removal. So, yeah, 3 of those. Artifact Sanctum, and the last one is Artifact Scythe. What's really cool about the Artifact package in this deck is that it doesn't matter if you draw Sanctum or Scythe, you'll always Scythe your opponent, because Lila will just pop this out of the back row and it'll summon itself and your opponent gets Scythed. So it actually doesn't matter which part of this engine you draw, because it will always Scythe your opponent. But that's it for the deck. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Oh, almost forgot the most important part of the deck. Tokens! So, that's it for the deck. What do I have to say about this deck? It's actually, I think, one of the best, like, underhand picks you could go for with this format. What I mean by underhand, like, decks that are not part of the meta, but they're better than Rogue. I guess, like, Invoked has always been an example of that. I think it is actually a little better at that than Invoked, just because this deck is really good at just playing through interruptions and sticking stuff to the board. Like, it's really rare that that's not the case. And if you actually play uses for your extenders, you could make a pretty powerful deck, and like you could do. I'm convinced you can do very well with this deck. But yep, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and say goodbye, Driver. He's the best card in the deck. That's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinnerflax will take your soul.